It is Friday, the 5th day of January 2024. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch and Hope TV, the station where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah has called upon President William Ruto to apologize to the judiciary and general public for accusing the arm of government of corruption. The president's sentiments, which further hinted that his administration will not abide by court orders, have continued to elicit mixed reactions, with Omtatah noting that any attempt to govern the country contrary to the law will not be entertained. And as Grace Ahati now reports, former Tana River Governor Hussein Dado has, however, come to the president's defense, declaring his support for plans to clean the judiciary to root out corrupt officials.
Ganging up with corrupt judicial officials.
Days after President William Ruto publicly accused the judiciary of corruption, further hinting that his administration will not abide by court orders, Busia Senator Okiya Omtatah has criticized the sentiments and challenged the president to table evidence to support the claims.
Benefiting from money stolen from NHIF.
Addressing the press after recently claiming his life was in danger over the housing levy case, Senator Omtatah challenged President Ruto to apologize to the judiciary and the general public.
I therefore add my voice to those who have come out to strongly condemn His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto's recent, most unfortunate, reckless, unwarranted, ill-informed, misguided, immature, unhinged, unnecessary, barbaric, satanic, and without a doubt, unconstitutional attacks on the judiciary. It is therefore an equally grave matter if the president does not have any evidence to support his alarming allegations.
Omtatah has at the same time cautioned the press against inaction over the matter, saying that their independence is also likely to be interfered with.
Since the independent judiciary in Kenya is under attack by the Kenya Kwanza government, I am sure that the next target will be our free press, and that should concern every Kenyan. Another poignant lesson from history is the futility of appeasing tyrants and strong men.
This even as former Tana River Governor Hussein Dado has separately defended President Ruto's stance, noting that as far as the government was supporting the judicial independence, it does not mean they should protect corrupt judicial officers as they were spoiling the image of the judiciary.
In every society there is an abnormality. Katika executive kuna abnormalities. Katika judiciary kuna abnormalities. Hata katika parliament kuna abnormalities. So every part of the society they have their weaker part. Tusijibisiane hapa. Ati raisi amesema hii law society demonstrate. We will also demonstrate against you.
Dado has at the same time hailed the president for speaking the truth about the state of the country's economy and executing strategies to fix it, and pointed out that measures to resuscitate the economy and address the high cost of living was already bearing fruit.
Ruto alituambia yeye hawezi kuwa anaweka uongo ati uchumi onekane mzuri. Hapana, asema wananchi wajue ukweli uko wapi. Aliweka fertilizer, chakula ikawa mingi sana, kama si mvua ya juzi. Chakula ilikuwa mingi na watu wanalima. Hiyo imefanya bei ya chakula kufanya nini? Kushuka. One way of reducing the cost of living kwanza ni chakula. Basic ni chakula. Chakula imeteremka bei. Hiyo tumekubaliana.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you, Grace Ahati, for that report. Healthcare workers in the Port Victoria Hospital in Busia County have ceased operations, demanding that perpetrators of violence against a health worker captured on a viral video must be addressed. The healthcare workers have threatened to call all health workers in the country to strike in protest until the violent culprits are brought to book. Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakumicha yesterday condemned the violent incident against the nurse, stating that perpetrators of such acts will face the full force of the law. She said the Busia healthcare workers' assault was not just an attack on an individual, but an assault on the entire healthcare system and the principles that guide it.
We have said there's no work going in Port Victoria until we are assured of the security of healthcare workers. Hatutakubali mtu yeyote, uwe mtoto wa rais, uwe mtoto wa waziri, uwe mtoto wa governor, uwe mtoto wa MCA, uwe mtoto wa subchief, uwe mtoto wa likuru, uwe mtoto wa mtu wa kuuza malimali, kuja hospitali na kudhulumu wahudumu wa afya.
We demand that all those perpetrators who attacked, insulted and assaulted healthcare workers who are on duty be brought to book. If not, we will ask all healthcare workers in the whole country to cease their work so that this is addressed.
But hatua ambayo imechukuliwa ni kwamba wameripoti wale ambao walidhulumiwa washaripoti kesi kwa ofisi ya polisi huko Port Victoria.
We are working with the Budalangi police authorities and also the county police authorities to ensure that those individuals who have since been identified are apprehended and charged in a court of law, so that we learn to respect public workers. If there is a complaint, there is a method of lodging complaints.
Nandi Senator Samson Cherargei has defended President William Ruto's recent onslaught against the judiciary. Cherargei argues that the president was merely calling out corruption in the third arm of government. In a media briefing in Eldoret Town, the UDA legislator claimed that Azimio politicians had teamed up with corrupt judicial officers to derail Kenya Kwanza's development agenda. He revealed that once Parliament resumes sittings in February, he will push for the establishment of a commission of inquiry into the state capture of the judiciary. The president has been under fire from a section of lawyers and politicians after accusing the judiciary of teaming up with individuals out to sabotage his flagship programs.
Nataka niunge mkono rais. Ile court orders ambaye si make sense, awachane naye, hizo zitumike kama tissue paper, tutupe huko kando, kwa sababu hatuwezi kuwa nchi ya kusimamisha. Sahi wa Kenya wanataka manyumba, wa Kenya wanataka mambo ya mabarabara, and therefore as a country we must even think where in other jurisdictions where judges are voted to office. It is a high time as we have this conversation. Judges and judicial officers must be voted to office because
GEM Member of Parliament Elisha Odhiambo is accusing top Orange Democratic Movement leaders of double-speak over the need to respect the independence of the judiciary. According to Odhiambo, the top ODM brass should be the last to lecture President William Ruto on the need to respect court rulings, while they themselves have been disobeying the rulings with impunity. Speaking today at Mutumbu in North Gem location during the burial of his late grandmother, Paulina Opondo, who died at 105 years. The legislator also accused Siaya Governor James Orengo of misleading Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga to disrespect a recent court ruling stopping the coronation of Odungi Randa as the chairman of the Luo Council of Elders. Odhiambo said that Orengo will be a one-term governor and will not be re-elected for the second term due to alleged poor leadership and development record.
Let me say that James Bob Orengo, he speaks from both mouths open. Orengo is a double dealer. Recently, I heard yesterday that Orengo called on the president to respect judiciary. Fair enough. Judiciary is independent, that requires respect. But if you don't call on the president to respect judiciary, when you have misled Raila to disobey court order. There was a court order that barred swearing in of Odungiranda. And they went ahead and swore him in. True or false? True. So, respect the court order if you require the president to respect a court order. Number two, if you have watched you do. If you have what happened after the swearing in of Odungiranda? Number one, the spear that was being used to swear him in dropped down. 2 days later, the son committed suicide. The day of the burial of the son, another son had an accident, is in ICU. The day later, another son was breaking a house in Manyata.
And the very first lot to enter the country visa-free has today landed at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, that is JKIA. This follows the announcement by President William Ruto that Kenya will be a visa-free country starting this year, 2024. Among key changes introduced to the Citizen and Immigrations Regulations 2023. Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, through a special Gazette notice dated January 2nd, 2024, announced the replacement of the term visa with Electronic Travel Authorization, ETA. The ETA application replaced the visa and costs 4,600 shillings once applied via the eCitizen platform. Confirming the arrival, Immigration Principal Secretary Paul Bitok said over 5,000 ETA applications have already been received, with 2,141 approved so far.
That was directed by His Excellency has been replaced by what we call ETA, Electronic Travel Authorization. So we are here this afternoon to be able to, all systems are in place to ensure that the presidential directive is implemented to the letter. And I'm happy to inform you that the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration indeed gazetted the regulations and provided a legal notice anchoring the ETA into law. The Gazette notice was published on 2nd of January this year. And as we speak now, ETA is a legal requirement requiring all visitors coming to Kenya to be able to get it before coming here. I want to say as we speak now, the new visa-free regime is in place. We have put in all the measures, we have engaged all the stakeholders, we have engaged all the partners to ensure that we have a visa-free country.
Kenya is moving in the right direction. ETA is the way to go, and this system ensures that Kenya becomes more safe and secure for the traveling public and all our citizens at large.
And as PS has said, and DG KCA has said, we are ready and we are prepared. And this country is going to another level of digitization, whereby application for the ETA is going to be easier and faster, and is now open country for the world to come in.
Well, on that progressive note of a visa-free country, we take our very fast break on Newswatch tonight. Don't go too far. We have plenty more coming up.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen, and live.
It's finally here. The breakfast show that will kickstart your morning with a message of hope, coupled up with wholesome music, and of course, captivating conversations that matter to you.
We shall touch on topics on law, relationships, the Christian walk, and in addition, we will also be keeping you up to date with news and all the trending topics.
Join me, Beatrice Watare,
and me, George Gishuru, every Monday to Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Hope at Dawn.
Only on Hope TV, where you look
and live.
Je, ushawahi kuweka jambo kwenye mizani? Ushawahi kupata uzito wake? Haya basi, usitapetape zaidi. Naomba unigande, maana mizani ipo hapa kwa ajili yako.
Vyakula na mbegu za kitamaduni
na kutuliza fikra na kukuwezesha kupima masuala ibuka katika jamii, tena kwa busara. Tukutane mizani kila Ijumaa saa 1 machweo kwenye runinga ya Hope TV.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at the back to school progress. Parents and students in Mombasa have flocked different uniform centers and bookshops to buy the required items ahead of the reopening of schools on the 8th of January. The parents have, however, complained over the high prices of uniforms and books, citing the economic hardships prevalent in the country that has forced them to dig deeper into their pockets. In one uniform outlet at Mwembe Tayari, Aisha said a guardian says due to the prevailing economic challenges, she has found it difficult to purchase the required uniforms and items required by the school. Monica Mulinge, a businesswoman operating at the uniform center, says despite numerous people visiting her uniform shop, her business has taken a hit unlike previous years.
Kusema la kweli vitu viko juu. Uchumi umetufinya kila mahali. Niko na uniform ndio hizo bei ni ghali. Mtoto badala apate kile kiwango anastahili kupata, yabidi tufinye kila mahali, yani to balance. Uniform apate japo 2, bei za vitabu nazo ziko juu. Yani sijui Ruto wafanya nini, lakini atuangalie sisi watu wa chini tunaumia sana.
Hii ni biashara for the last 3 years imekuwa biashara ngumu sana, sababu hakuna wateja wanakuja kama vile kitambo. Vitu zimepanda na upati hata raw materials za kushona. Hata unapopata pesa unapata hata mwenye kustock materials hana. Taxes zimekuwa juu na maisha yamekuwa juu sana. Kwa hivyo ni kilio cha changu kama mwenye Mombasa Uniforms kulia kwa hata wanabiashara wenzangu ya kwamba serikali iangalie wananchi, kwa maana nchi ni wananchi, na wananchi wakiwa hawapo hakuna nchi nyingine. Sijui ikiendelea hivi kama Kenya itakuwa na watu wataisha juu ya shida. Wale wako chini watazidi kuisha kwa maana hakuna mapato hata kidogo.
Niko maeneo ya Posta hapa nyuma, lakini bei za second hand hazina tofauti na bei za bookshop. Bei ni hizo hizo. Wazazi twajituma watoto wetu wapate elimu, lakini ndio ni kama hivyo, biashara hatuna, tunapambana sisi kama wazazi, kazi hakuna, usaidizi hakuna. Kwa hiyo tuomba usaidizi kwa serikali, wakae chini waangalie kina mama watasaidia vipi kwa biashara ndogo ndogo.
Vitabu zingine zimebadilishwa, mbona nasikia ni hii. Na tena pia wazazi hawana pesa. Sasa huwezi linganisha na miaka huko nyuma alikuwa nakuja wengi, hata hapa gari haikuwa inapita hapa. Sasa hivi na watu wengi wako yani wamekaa tu wametulia, sababu hakuna pesa. Vitabu hizo serikali nasikia ni wamepunguza sera hapa, sijui ni gani mtoto ataambiwa ni anaweza nunua hii asikie sio hii, na wewe mwenyewe ulikuwa umeka stock ya hizo vitabu. So kwa hivyo hizo vitabu zenye ni serikali imerejista kwa wastage.
Now, Kwale County Governor Fatuma Achani has officially launched the distribution of pesticides equipment which include protective clothes to deal with armyworms to maize farmers in Kwale County. The pesticides and equipment have cost the county government 4.5 million shillings and are expected to be distributed to farmers in all 20 wards in preparation for planting maize ahead of the rainy season. Speaking at the launch and distribution of the equipment in the headquarters in Kwale, the governor said that the provision of pesticides equipment to deal with armyworms to maize farmers aims to ensure that the residents of Kwale are self-sufficient and food secure to avoid the annual food aid that has been witnessed in some parts of the county.
Mbali na kupeana hizi pembejeo, pia tuweze kuwafuatilia wakulima wetu, tuendelee kuwapatia support. Kuna wengine tutapata hizi lakini hatujui zatumika vipi. Kwa hivyo pia ni vizuri wale maofisa wetu wa kilimo tuwe tuweza kutembea sana kule nyanjani ili tuweze kuendelea kuwahimiza ama kuwafundisha wale wakulima, na tukizingatia kuwa pia wale agricultural officers tunaendelea kuongeza. Hii ni kwa sababu tunataka kilimo kiwe ni ngao yetu ama ni nguzo yetu katika kaunti hii. Pia ukulima ndio kitu ambacho kinaweza kututoa sisi katika ule umaskini na kutuleta katika hali iliyo sawa, na sisi tunakupatia hizi equipments ama pembejeo ambazo zinaweza kukusaidia ili ukulima tuweze kupigana vita na viwavi na wale wadudu wote ambao wanasumbua mimea yetu.
Tusitupe ukulima, kwa sababu niko hapa leo kama mkulima. Bali nakuwa nimesomea ukulima, lakini naifanya with passion kuhakikisha kuwa kuna chakula katika nyumba yangu na hata kwa majirani.
Hivi ni vifaa ambavyo kama tungeambiwa sisi twende kununua kila mmoja, labda mmoja ama wawili angeweza kununua. Kwa hivyo inapokuwa serikali imegharimika kutupatia vifaa hivi, naomba vitunufaishe, naomba tuvitumie tuwe careful tukivitumia, ili kusudi vidumu viwe vitatusaidia. Kwa sababu hii sio mashine ambayo after 3 months iwe imeharibika. Kiuhakika inatakikana mwaka ujao na mwaka mwingine, miaka 4-5, mashine hii iwe bado itakusaidia. Jukumu kubwa itakuwa sana kutafuta madawa na kujaza na kupuliza.
Now, across our borders, the United Nations Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Martin Griffiths, has issued a stark warning about the deepening crisis in Sudan, emphasizing the urgent need for decisive international action. Sudanese paramilitary leader General Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo on Thursday said he was committed to a ceasefire to end the devastating war that has wrecked his country even as fighting continues, and there has been no progress on proposed peace talks between Dagalo and Sudan military chief General Abdel Fattah Burhan. During Thursday's meeting with Dagalo, Ramaphosa said he hoped that there would be an imminent face-to-face dialogue between Dagalo and Burhan and called for an immediate ceasefire.
The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs is telling us that bombardments and fighting continue in most of Gaza, as well as the firing of rockets by Palestinian armed groups into Israel. OCHA says that yesterday, January 3rd, for the second day in a row, the vicinity of Al Amal Hospital and the Palestine Red Crescent Society in Khan Yunis was bombed multiple times throughout the day. Many displaced families who had been sheltering in the building and in the Red Crescent headquarters attempted to evacuate. Our food security partners continue to provide support, but they tell us that the operating environment and response capacity continue to be hindered by security risks, by mobility constraints, delays, and denials. Despite these challenges, between December 28th and the 31st, the World Food Programme conducted a large-scale distribution of food to some 10,000 households in makeshift camps, as well as an additional 26,000 people displaced through distribution sites in Rafah. Hot meals were also provided, they tell us, to 57,000 people in Rafah, Deir al-Balah, and Gaza City.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference and Protestant churches in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, have demanded an independent inquiry be opened into irregularities and alleged legal violations observed during December general elections. In a joint statement, the Catholic and Protestant churches said the results of the presidential and legislative vote would only be acceptable if an inquiry was set up. The presidential election won by incumbent Felix Tshisekedi with more than 73% according to CENI, that is the Central African Nations Election Commission, has been met with controversy. The groups had monitored the polls with their thousands of independent observers on and after Election Day. Hour-long delays, malfunctioning machines, and other issues led to an unscheduled extension of voting beyond December 20th, as parts of the country were still casting ballots 5 days after Election Day. The logistical problems included many polling stations being late in opening or not opening at all. Some lacked materials and many voter cards had smudged ink that made them illegible. A large group of opposition candidates say the election was fraudulent as a result and have rejected the provisional results. And with that, we have come to the end of Newswatch tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Have a good night.